How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down Pokémon GO Battle League Season 17. This season is going to take place from December 1st to March 1st, and the season is going to start and end at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. First off, PSA before you actually even start the season, make sure you drop a star piece before you collect your end of season rewards if you made it to rank 20 or higher. This is arguably one of the best times to use a star piece in the game, especially as a free-to-play player. Now, as soon as the season starts as well, you should also go into the shop and claim the free timed research pass. There are going to be 5 research pages requiring 100 battles to complete, and you can actually stack the Stardust rewards that you get from them, so I would recommend holding on to this for the next time that you plan on using a star piece. So basically what I end up doing is I try to save the entire page, and then, like, for example, if there's like a calm day with a 3x Stardust bonus, or maybe I'm just going to go out to play like a spotlight hour, I'll go ahead and drop a star piece, claim all those research rewards, and then just go through my regular grind. Now additionally, on top of that, once you complete page 4, you're going to get an Elite Fast TM, and then once you complete page 5, you're going to get an Elite Charge TM. You're also going to get some extra large rare candy along the way, so if you guys actually are curious in terms of which Pokemon are the best to invest that into, check out this video in the top right hand corner. Anyways though, let's go ahead and move on over to the league rotation schedule for this season. So from December 1st to December 8th, we're going to have the Open Great League as well as the Retro Cup Great League Edition. From December 8th to December 15th, we're going to have the Open Ultra League as well as the Retro Cup once again. From December 15th to December 22nd, we're going to have the Open Master League as well as the Holiday Cup Great League Edition, and we're also going to get 4x Stardust from the win rewards. I love to take advantage of GBL during these specific rotations because that Stardust bonus is insane, especially once you make it to rank 20. And then from December 29th to January 5th, we are going to have the Open Great League back in once again. I mean, I guess you could really say it's like Open Great League 2 weeks in a row. We're not going to have the 4x Stardust from win rewards during this rotation though, but we are going to have the Holiday Cup Little Cup Edition. Next, from January 5th to January 12th, we're going to have the Open Ultra League, as well as the Great League Remix Cup. For those of you guys who are unfamiliar in terms of what Remix Cups are, they basically ban the top 20 most meta-relevant Pokemon from the previous season. You guys can see the full ban exclusion list on the Pokémon GO website, but it's pretty much just like the most common stuff you see, like Medicham, Carbink, Bastiodon, stuff like that. Next up, from January 12th to January 19th, we're going to have the Open Master League once again back in rotation, along with the Fantasy Cup Great League Edition. I think the Fantasy Cup is a new one this season. Now from January 19th to January 26th, we're going to have the open formats once again back into rotation for the second time. From January 26th to February 2nd, we're going to have the Open Great League along with the Hisui Cup Great League Edition, and then from February 2nd to February 9th, we're going to have the Open Ultra League along with the Hisui Cup again. Now from February 9th to February 16th, we're going to have the Open Master League along with the Evolution Cup Great League Edition, and we're going to get 4x Stardust from win rewards for the remainder of the season at this point. Now from February 16th to February 23rd, we're going to have the Catch Cup Little Cup Edition along with the Catch Cup Great League Edition. I'm kind of glad that they started putting the Catch Cups, like, not the last rotation, but the second to last rotation, and then keeping the final rotation all open formats again, which is going to take place from February 23rd to March 1st, and this is pretty much your final push to Legend if you haven't hit it already. Or if you don't care about Legend, then you can just keep grinding out the Stardust rewards. That's probably what I'm going to do. Next up, let's talk about GO Battle Days as well as GO Battle Week, I guess, this season. So that's kind of a new thing. We've never really had that before. We'll start with GO Battle Week, which is going to take place from January 19th to January 24th. So normally the maximum amount of sets you can do per day is 5, so 25 battles, but for GO Battle Week, that's going to be increased to 10 sets a day for 50 battles per day. Now, like we talked about during the rotation schedule, we're also going to be getting 4x Stardust from the win reward, so ideally you should be at rank 20 by this point if you want to maximize your gains, especially when it comes down to really going for the 1-4 strategy that I like to talk about a lot on this channel. Now, additionally, on top of that, we're going to be getting a timed research for GO Battle Week. We tend to get a timed research to go along with these GO Battle Days in general. Now, for some odd reason, this is the only way to unlock his hat in game, and normally you would unlock this kind of stuff at like Ace rank or Veteran, but at Ace rank, you get his gloves and his shoes, at Veteran rank, you get his pants, and then at Expert rank, you get his shirt, and then of course at Legend rank, you get the pose, but you know, you don't get the hat anywhere along those lines, so it looks like it's just going to be from this GO Battle Week research, so make sure to get that done if you want the hat. I think the hat is like one of the coolest parts of his outfit, so personally for me, that's a no-brainer. Now, of course, the active leagues during this rotation, like we talked about earlier, are going to be Great League, Ultra League, and Master League, all in their open formats. Now, the next GO Battle Day is going to take place on February 10th, and we're going to get a timed research to go along with it. They didn't really specify what the rewards are going to be, so I don't have anything to tell you guys, but the active leagues are going to be Open Master League along with the Evolution Cup and Great League. Next up, let's talk about the encounters, so we'll start off with the guaranteed rank up encounters first. So after rank 1, you're going to be able to encounter Hisuian Sneasel. After rank 6, you're going to be able to encounter Machoke. After you hit Ace rank at 2000 ELO, you're going to be able to encounter Dino. At veteran rank, at 2500 ELO, you're going to be able to encounter Gumi. At 2750, you're going to be able to encounter Jangmo-O. And then finally, at legend rank, at 3000 ELO, you're going to be able to get an encounter with Pikachu Libre, which can be shiny. So those are the guaranteed rank up encounters. You're only going to be able to encounter them once, but these are going to be all the encounters you guys get access to indefinitely. So at rank 1, you're going to get access to Machop, Marill, Gligar, Spiel, Skovit. And then at rank 6, you're going to get access to Frillish and Carbink. Carbink is a lovely Pokemon to see. That's definitely a Pokemon I would stockpile to get your rare candy trades in, because Carbink is a beast in the Great League, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. At rank 11, you're going to get access to Alolan Vulpix, Lickitung, really good. Lickitung is like a top Great League Pokemon, Drillbur, Phantump, and Marini. At rank 16, you're going to get access to Vullaby, Wooloo, Phalanx, and then at rank 20, you're going to get access to the active raid boss in 5-star raids, at least a chance to encounter it, right? I love that. I've actually gotten multiple shiny legendary just from that alone, so make sure you guys push for rank 20. Now, for some weird reason, you get a guaranteed rank up encounter with Gumi at 2500 ELO, and then a guaranteed rank up encounter with Dino at 2000 ELO for ace rank and veteran rank respectively. But for the actual encounters, they're a little bit flipped. So at ace rank, you get access to Gumi, and then at veteran rank, you get access to Dino. 2750 is still going to be the same for Jangmo-O, so that doesn't really change much, but I don't know if that was like a mistake on their graph. We'll kind of have to wait and see how things play out. Next up, let's talk about the exclusive trainer pose this season, which is going to feature the trainer Ingo from Pokemon Legends Arceus. So at ace rank, you're going to get access to his gloves and shoes. At veteran rank, you're going to get access to the pants. At expert, you're going to get access to the shirt. And then finally, at legend rank, you're going to get access to the pose, and then you have to do the timed research like we talked about earlier to get his hat. I don't know why they did it that way, but yeah, just really important to note. In my opinion, this is actually a really great trainer pose this season. I feel like the last few have been kind of lackluster, and it's nice to see something that's a little bit more exciting to push for. Now, additionally, on top of that, let's talk about the free Elite TMs that you're going to be able to get this season. So we talked about the, timed research that you got to claim in the shop. At page 4 and page 5, respectively, you're going to get 2 Elite TMs from that. But additionally, on top of that, the easier way to get Elite TMs is that once you hit rank 19, you get an Elite Charge TM, and then at the end of the season, when you claim rewards, you're going to get an Elite Fast TM. Next up, let's talk about the special cups and all of their restrictions. For anything Great League format, it's going to be 1500 CP or lower. For anything Little League format, that's going to be 500 CP or lower. So if Retro Cup is going to be Great League Edition, we're going to be able to use any Pokemon except for Dark, Steel, and Fairy types. Following that, let's talk about Holiday Cup. We're going to have the Great League as well as the Little League formats for both of these. Now you can only use normal, grass, electric, ice, flying, and ghost type Pokemon. Following that, we have the Fantasy Cup. You can only use Dragon, Steel, and Fairy type Pokemon. This is going to be Great League format. And then the Evolution Cup is also going to be Great League format. You can basically only use any Pokemon that can be evolved, but have also never been evolved. I think this also includes like Stage 2 Pokemon, like just that haven't been evolved. So it's kind of like first stage, second stage, but no third stage Pokemon. Then we're also going to have the Sway Cup, Great League Edition. You can only use Pokemon from Legends Arceus. And then we talked about this earlier, the Great League Remix Cup is basically just going to ban the top 20 most used Pokemon from the previous season. And those Pokemon are going to be as follows: Alolan Sandslash, Alolan Ninetales, Wigglytuff, Noctowl, Lantern, Azumarill, Umbreon, Pelipper, Sableye, Medicham, Altaria, Registeel, Deoxys Defense Form, Bastiodon, Toxicroak, Scrafty, Galarian Stunfisk, Greninja, that's an interesting one to see, Talonflame, and Trevenant. Talonflame just got a buff this season too. And then finally, the Catch Cup is basically just anything that you catch during the season you can use during those cups, and that's pretty much it. Now with that out of the way, we can go over all the new moves and updates for this season. There's a ton of stuff to go over, but thankfully I was able to get some help from a local member in my community. Some of you guys may actually know him. He's one of the top battlers in the world. He makes Legend every single season. He's been on the leaderboard multiple times. So big shout out to my friend Matt for putting this together. I'm going to leave a link to his Google Doc in the description down below. I highly recommend checking it out. But let's go over all the attack changes first. So Mudslap is going to get increased energy generation. Fire Spin is going to go from 9 damage to 10 damage. Incinerate is going to go from 15 damage to 20 damage. That is going to be huge for Talonflame and Pokemon like Typhlosion, Ho-Oh. That's going to be insane. I love that. Blaze Kick is going to go from 55 to 60 power. That's going to be really good for Blaziken. Now, unfortunately for Breaking Sweep, this is going to be a nerf. It used to guarantee debuffing the opponent's attack by 1 stage every single time that you used it, but now it's just going to have a chance to do that, so it's no longer going to be guaranteed. This used to be huge for Pokemon like Rayquaza, Haxorus. It was amazing, and I'm really sad that it's not going to guarantee doing that anymore because Rayquaza was my boy. Like, I powered that thing up, I used it a ton in Master League, I'm really sad about that, but it kind of needed to happen, right? It was pretty OP. Anyway, so moving on, Iron Tail is also going to get buffed from 9 to 10 power, energy generation is going to be increased. Steel Wing is going to have its energy generation increased as well. I don't know how much of a difference that one's going to make. Astonish is a pretty big buff from 5 to 9 power, so that's going to be a huge shakeup for the ghost type meta. Bubble is going to go from 7 to 8 power. Scald is actually going to get a nice buff from 80 to 85 power with a greater chance to lower the opposing opponent's attack by 1 stage. So Scald got a huge buff right there. And then our final move update is going to be Psychic, which got nerfed from 85 to 75 power. This was kind of big for Medicham. Medicham was currently the #1 Pokemon in the Great League. This is going to bring it down a little bit, which I'm sad to see because Medicham is already maxed out for me. I have one built for the Great League. I got a best buddy and everything. Now we can go through all of the attack availability updates. So basically all the Pokemon that get access to new moves. So let's go over everything right now, starting off with the Icy Wind update. So Wigglytuff got a nice buff with Icy Wind. This is going to be a big improvement compared to using Ice Beam. Poliwrath also got a nice buff with Icy Wind as well. Poliwrath already has access to like a lot of different charge moves, but given it Icy Wind, that's just bumping up Poliwrath for sure. There's a more detailed analysis that Matt goes over, but you know, I'm just giving you guys the really simple format of it. Next up, we have Avalugg and Hisuian Avalugg. Icy Wind is not going to do anything for either of these Pokemon. Frigibax and Arctibax is also going to have the same effect as well. Avalanche is the preferred moveset to go with on both of those Pokemon. So yeah, really the main winners here for Icy Wind are going to be Wigglytuff and Poliwrath. Now, unfortunately for Dedenne, it got access to Parabolic Charge, which Swag Tips is not going to be happy about this one because according to Matt, this does the same damage as Discharge for 10 more energy. Next up, let's talk about Trailblaze. So a lot of Pokemon got access to this moveset. We're going to start off with the Alolan Raichu here. Matt actually really likes this one. He calls it a buff. For regular Raichu, it's more or less like better coverage for Raichu, but it might just have more play in the Kanto Cup specifically, not Open Great League. Alolan Meowth and Alolan Persian, skip those entirely. It's not going to change anything for either of these two in the meta. Now, when it comes down to Ariados, though, Matt actually really likes this one as well. It's kind of a side grade, but it gives you different coverage, which is pretty good for Ariados. Cacnea and Cacturne, skip those entirely. Now, when it comes down to Oranguru, Matt actually calls this one a side grade, so it's probably going to have more use in very specific cups, but not so much the Open League formats. The next Pokemon does actually have a bit more play in the Open formats as well as in the type-specific cups, and that's going to be Greedent getting access to Trailblaze, so Matt does like this one. He called it the Lickitung treatment, getting the grass coverage move, which I think is pretty appropriate. He does say that it has like better play in Great League, but slightly worse play in the Ultra League, so keep that in mind if you guys are going to build one. Nimble and Low Kicks, don't use those at all. The Smoliv line unfortunately does not get the stamp of approval from Matt. He calls it a side grade or possibly worse for Dolliv and Arboliv. Seabomb is cheaper, but it does give them a buffy move for Razor Leaf variants. Next up, let's talk about Alolan Sandslash getting Aerial Ace. This one is a good move in the sense that it's going to have access to better coverage all around. Matt doesn't call this one an upgrade though, because you could probably run this standard move set instead of actually switching to Aerial Ace. We got a lot of Pokemon that got access to Fly though, so I feel like this is going to be a big one for potential move updates. So first one we have is going to be Delibird. Don't use this one at all, it's not anything good. Starly, Staravia, and Staraptor. Ignore the first two, but Staraptor is significantly better with Fly over Brave Bird because it doesn't debuff its own defense. So that's a huge improvement. Matt does recommend building one of these if you guys have not done so already, and it's a relatively cheap investment. Now when it comes down to Rufflet, Braviary, and Hisuian Braviary, Matt does not think this one is a big change, but maybe keep an eye out for the Steel Wing update that might help it a little bit. Might help Braviary, not Rufflet. Rufflet you don't really care that much about. Hisuian Braviary, it's not that great either. Now we also have Fletchling, Fletchlander, and Talonflame. This is actually one that I can speak on a little bit myself because I use Talonflame a lot in the Great League as well as the Ultra League. So Fly doesn't really actually help it all that much because Brave Bird is your nuke option, right? Like you want to have Brave Bird to just like throw it and then swap into a different Pokemon. That was always a strat with Talonflame. You can't really do that with Fly, but maybe that's like good for a different play style. That's just my opinion on it. Matt kind of agrees more or less, but again, he kind of likes the nuke with Brave Bird opposed to having Fly. And then finally, Vikavolt also got access to Fly, so this recently had a calm day. This is definitely an improvement, but it doesn't make it that much better. Again, Charjabug, its second stage form, was the preferred Pokemon to focus on during that calm day, not even like the featured Pokemon being Vikavolt. So yeah, take that for what you will. Vikavolt, it's better, but it's not that great with Fly. Now we can take a look at Scald, all the Pokemon that get access to this move. There is a lot of Pokemon for this one as well. So Slowbro and Galarian Slowbro both got access to Scald. Scald looks a little bit worse for Slowbro according according to Matt in both the Ultra League as well as the Great League. Surf is just spammier, and the same can be said for Galarian Slowbro as well. It's just kind of another side grade for it. Politoed, I can even speak to this one. It's kind of another option for it because Weather Bolt is the preferred one you want to go with when it comes down to water type moves. It's just a lot more spammy. Now Slowking and Galarian Slowking pretty much have the exact same treatment as Slowbro. They both have access to Surf, so you really want to go with that one over Scald. Unfortunately for Quillfish, it does have access to Aqua Tail, which is a lot more spammy, so Matt actually recommends going with that over Scald. Suicune is a lot better though. So Suicune finally got some justice done. It got a lot better in the Ultra League. Matt actually has a full analysis going over this one, so make sure to check that out. Lotad, Lombre, and Ludicolo. Matt does not think this one is a huge upgrade. It's like a slight improvement for Ludicolo, but the bubble buff does help it a bit as well. For Wailmer and Wailord, this doesn't really help it all that much. I mean, you're not typically going to use Wailmer that much, and then Wailord, it does have access to Surf, so you don't really need to use Scald. My god, the amount of Pokemon that get access to Scald. We still have 4 more to go through. Barboge and Wishcash are going to be next. Barboge, you can ignore that one. Wishcash, though, Matt calls this one amazing. So this one is huge because it finally got access to a good water charge move. Before, I think it had access to Hydro Pump, which is kind of whatever. I mean, it's like a nuke move, right? But you can't really do much with it. It has access to Mud Bomb too. And yeah, overall, Wishcash gonna be getting a huge improvement in the upcoming meta. The next Pokemon is going to be Vigoroth getting access to Rock Slide. In my opinion, this is pretty awesome for its coverage. So before you would run Body Slam plus Drill Run, but now you have access to Rock Slide as well. Definitely a great thing to see for Vigoroth. Matt also gives it the stamp of approval as well. He calls it an upgrade. The next Pokemon is going to be Toxicroak getting access to Shadow Ball. In my opinion, this one's actually really cool to see, but Matt does call it a side grade in both the Great League and Ultra League formats, so take that for what you will. Maybe it's not as good as I think it is. And again, he is the expert here. Next up, let's talk about Palossand, which got access to Astonish. This is the only Pokemon this season that got access to this moveset with the recent buff. Now, Matt does say that Mudshot is going to be the preferred option, but if Palossand does run Astonish, it does take matchups against Cresselia, Frostlass, and Trevenant in the 2-shield scenario, where it obviously couldn't do that before. And finally, we have made it to the end of the list, Triple Axle. Which Pokemon got it, and which Pokemon are going to be good with it? Articuno, Frostlass, Cryogonal, and Delibird. Matt did not include Delibird, so either he forgot about it or he just didn't think it was that relevant. He calls Articuno a downgrade. He calls Frostlass also kind of a downgrade. Avalanche is still the preferred one you want to go with. But when it comes down to Cryogonal, this is going to be an upgrade over Aurora Beam before, but it still doesn't really make this Pokemon that viable. And with that, that is every single Pokemon that got access to a new move this season. That was extremely overwhelming to go through. I hope you guys appreciate these types of videos because my god, I would not have made this without Matt's help. Once again, huge shout out to him. Check out his full Google Doc in the description down below. Now finally, after everything that we talked about, I want to go over some tips and tricks for Season 17. Depending on what you guys want out of the season, I'm going to give you some different strategies to go over. So first of all, for those of you guys that want to push for Legend, just know that it's going to be a lot of work. Every season it gets more difficult to hit this milestone as players continue to develop their skills. So what I would recommend doing is finding a few Twitch streamers that you really like. YouTubers are good too, but I do recommend streamers more because they battle in real time and you can hear their thought process, right? You can hear them kind of deciding, should I throw this? Should I switch right now? That helps so much. Opposed to YouTubers who are showcasing different teams all the time. Like, yeah, that can help you, but there's nothing like a streamer in my opinion. That's like my preferred content to consume if I was going to be pushing for Legend. Now second, for those of you guys who just want to focus on resources, make sure that you get to rank 20 as soon as possible. And pretty much from there, you can just go 1-4 in all of your sets and you're going to get 4,000 Stardust every time. So that's like 15 to 20,000 Stardust every single day just for hitting rank 20 and going 1-4. Like you just have to win one time, lose the other 4 battles, move on, doesn't take that long. It's amazing. And this is like exponentially more Stardust during those 4 times Stardust from Win Rewards, where we have like, what, 6-7 weeks of that during this season. It's going to be amazing. With that being said though, that's basically everything that I have for you guys in this video. My voice is killing me right now. Of course, let me know your own goals in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them. And if you want some more general tips and tricks, you guys can check out these 2 videos right here.